Hey traders, Raghee here. And you know, if there's a phrase to sort of describe this week, it's got to be dips happen. And they do. And they do in the context of a trend present us with an opportunity to be buyers. So I'm going to contrast some moves that we're seeing here. The dip that I'm most interested in is this one in the Russell. We've had a couple moves into the wave, and I'd like to see a slightly lower low tomorrow, a candle that's going to go a little bit lower than today's low, but probably not as low as this previous low right in here. So keeping in mind, dips happen. Now, dips are valid within the context of a trend. So let's contrast this with the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ did have a dip back in here. You can see the wave held, and this was a nice move back to the upside. And then this particular move was a dip, and then the very next day, this candle right here, it was broken. Again, broken. Once again, smashed to oblivion the next three candles. This, right at this point in here, ceased being a dip because the market ceased being an uptrend, and I use the additional confirmation of our what we call the JT multi-trend to confirm that this is a yellow market, which is not that it's a downtrend, but it's more of a chop. So if you're thinking about this is a mark up, so think Charles Dow mark up market trend, and when did it basically transition into distribution? Right when this thing goes yellow, right in here. So this is now a distribution market. In a distribution market, it doesn't mean that we suddenly get bearish. It simply now means we transition from dip buys to oversold buys. Okay, but I'm not going to prioritize typically an oversold buy compared to what we have in the Russell, which is a dip. All right, what about the Dow? The Dow hasn't quite given us a conservative dip yet. That would be not the 21 exponential that got here, but the 34 EMA on the high. Although that's the point of control. This white line right here, that's the point of control. That is the most volume that we have seen since the beginning of this month. It's aggro, but it is a valid long. We could take off that level, which means chances are we're also going to see XLI, IYT, also perhaps give us some dips. Maybe they're buyable. Not all dips are buyable. The level from which you think a dip has retraced. You know, what is a dip synonymous with? It's a pullback. It's a retracement, but the important part is within the context of an uptrend. So what do you do when dips happen? You've got to confirm that the market is first double green. This tells us we have a mark up, and this dip then would mean it's a retracement that's buyable. All right, so that's the big contrast in my setup for tomorrow. I'm going to have this front and center is likely going to be the IWM, the RTY, or even the micro RTY for a long position on that slightly lower low. That could take us down into the wave and actually even down into the value area low, a volume-derived support level that's sitting just below the 34 EMA on the high. So nice little buy zone setting up, one that's held before. Would like to engage in that one here on IWM. I'm going to have that on my radar tomorrow. I'll see you in the next update.